Welcome everyone. Today we got another episode of the Sip Talk podcast. I got a special guest with me. Well, we in his building today. We're not in my building. So my guy Monte from Ole Miss Women's Basketball. He's the manager of creative content for Ole Miss Women's Basketball team. I'd like to welcome him today, man. Come on over, Monte.
All right. What up, man?
Monte, you doing all right?
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir,
Thank you.
man.
It's an honor to be at the, on the Sip Talk, man, the podcast.
Yes, sir.
So,
Absolutely.
So I'm
man.
blessed, man.
Hey, absolutely.
So, yeah, man. So, welcome.
Man, we really enjoyed that tour that you gave us before the show started. I'm gonna put a couple clips on there for you guys to see, man. He gave us an amazing tour.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of rich history at Ole Miss that you don't know about. That this guy can teach you a whole lot.
Yeah, even though I've been here this is my third season upcoming, and I'm still learning new stuff every single day.
Wow.
So it's so much, Ole Miss been around for a long time. Yeah. A lot of all-time greats kind of came in and made their mark and stuff like that. So of course, my time here, I like to make my mark some way, somehow. I don't think I'll compete with Eli Manning or anybody like that. But it's one of those things where, at least in my area, my department, just, threaded the needle and started something fresh and new and stuff. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, man, I like to start my shows. I always like to do like what I call a mental health check-in, man, because I'm real big on that. That's like one of my dearest things because, from just having a simple conversation with somebody, just seeing how their day going and just seeing where they are mentally at. So from a 1 to 10 today, how you feeling, man?
Man, honestly, I'm feeling a 10. Just one of those things where I woke up today feeling, just gratitude,
Gratitude.
every day, I would say 2026 has been really, really tough for me so far. It's one of those things where God is teaching me a lot. It's one of those days of just resilience and patience and everything that I kind of endured leading up to this point. It's one of those things where, something bigger is coming.
Yeah, always.
And it's one of those things where I'm just trying to continue to stay faithful, continue to stay prayed up, and continue to have my head up high and just being able to do my job and do my job well. And that's just not only within the Ole Miss women's basketball space, but, being a good man of God, being a great, significant other to my significant other, being a great son to my parents, being a great brother to my siblings, and being a great homeboy to my homeboys and my homegirls. So,
absolutely, man.
So I appreciate you asking that.
Hey,
not too many
man.
people ask that type of question, especially on the podcast. So I'm grateful for that.
I feel like sometimes we may get lost in our work. We just get lost in life. We just don't have time to just sit down and just say, hey, man, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get to where we want to help everybody and their mama, but we ain't taking time to diagnose ourselves. Like, okay, so how am I doing today?
Yeah.
So that's why I like to always do that, just to check my guests to see how they doing, man.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm from that tour, man. I'm a 10 and a half, man. I was excited. I told you, I wasn't expecting that when we was doing the interview. I wasn't expecting the whole tour. We come in and he was like, well, I'm gonna give you guys like, the tour? And you got to show us some rich history, man. We thoroughly enjoyed it, man.
Nah,
man. It was such a surprise,
whatever I could do to bless others, man. Every day is like, we're blessed in so many ways. So whatever I can do to bless somebody, and then especially if it's free, it don't take no time, no money or anything like that. Absolutely. It won't hurt, So, like I said, God has blessed us to have the opportunity to see the facilities like this on a daily basis. And sometimes we get caught up in work and we don't realize, this is a lot of facilities that a lot of people don't see, a lot of people dream for, to be in and to be at. And at one point in my life, this was my dream and God did it for me. So whatever I can do to give back, no matter way, no shape, or form. So that's what I do. So I'm glad that everything worked out the way it's supposed to, and that we're here today on this date at this time, to be able to do what we're doing now, and then for y'all to kind of just see the in and out and what happens here, and get y'all to come to more games and support the SIP.
We will definitely be there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, man. So real quick, I want to ask these is going to be some just random wacky questions, man. I'll call it the rapid fire questions. So they just completely random. Just answer them at your
All right. I'm ready.
All right. My first question for you, my man, is who is your celebrity childhood? Who is your celebrity childhood and adulthood crush, or do you have one?
Nah, I never been a fan. I never really had a crush growing up, surprisingly.
What?
It's one of those things where maybe because it's one of those things I don't know them. I think attraction, the way I'm wired, attraction plays a part, but it's kind of what can you do for me as in who you are? I think, your soul is the biggest part
Yeah.
of if I'm attracted to you or
Wow.
whatever. So it's kind of like you can see somebody and be like, yeah, like you're pretty, but what else, you know?
Wow.
And so for me, I'm always been like, you know, you're pretty on the outside, but what does your inside look like?
Yeah.
How you are as a person, how you carry yourself. If you can make me better, you know, what's your soul is. So I never grew up like in, you know, the typical like Beyonce and all this other Rihanna. Like, nah, I never really found nobody really attracted to the point where I had a crush because I didn't know.
Now you really surprised me with that. I was not expecting you to say that. I was expecting you to throw a little name out there. But, wow.
No, if anything, my lady now, you know, that's my crush.
Okay, all right. Good answer. All right, okay. All right, my next question for you is: you hit the lottery with the option of having $5 million one-time check or $6,000 a month until you die. Which one you taking?
Man, well, I have to do some math. 6,000 a month to the day I die.
Yeah.
I'll probably say the 5 million up front because unfortunately tomorrow is not promised. And
That's a good
God
point.
forbid,
That's a good point.
you know, I can 6,000 a month. If I pray I live a long life, that could be residual income of money that I don't touch.
Yeah.
That I can give back, that I can invest as something that I don't even have to touch. Because at that point, 6 times 12, that's about almost 90, 80, you know, just in revenue. But I'll take the 5 million probably up front because tomorrow's not promised. So that's a good question.
It's gonna surprise you, but I would actually rather take the $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
Because for one, it's gonna keep me from going into another tax bracket. So I'm gonna stay low
Yeah,
key.
that's true.
You know,
That's
let
true.
y'all take your little money out. Let me just keep on living. But
Yeah.
but it might be a better investment too, though. The $5 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. If you had a chance to have a superpower, what would it be?
Superpower.
Yeah.
Wow. Some good questions. Man, I think for me to be able to teleportation. If I can just go from one place to another in a timely manner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I love traveling. And that would just cut off a lot of expenses on my plane tickets or whatever. And it's one of those days where, let's just say I had a long day. I can go to the beach or something for the day and then just come right back instantly.
Come back in
you know,
instantly.
And stuff like that. Go see family, go see whoever, just do a lot of stuff. So I would say the power of teleportation.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
All right, my last question for you. You know, we were just talking about how work, you know, we were showing the tour, you was like, somebody else see a different perspective on what you see from work. So tell me what your work playlist is coming into work, you know.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then versus, all right, time to clock out.
So for me, I listen a little bit of everything. So aside for this, believe it or not, I DJ as well.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, so I DJ as well. And I got into DJing probably about 3 or 4 years ago. My previous employer at UTSA, I was DJing for the football games and the basketball games. So I would clock in from like 9 to 4, and then the game at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and I would go in, sound check, and DJ and stuff. But I'm from Georgia, so a lot of my playlist and time spending artists that I listen to is like T.I., Jeezy, the Southern rap and stuff. So like I like listening to the newer stuff, but the things with substance, like the trap music and stuff, my time frame is like 2005, 2006, 2004. And maybe because that was an era for me where it was most memorable in my life and it was great music and I wasn't old enough to be able to celebrate it or, you know, whatever, you know, just being at that point in my life where I can, you know, actually know what's going on and stuff like that. But for me, I would say that era, of music, but you know, so typically I'm always listening to that. And then if it's not that, gospel, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to be restored and have the mindset to be able to, you know, go in and do the job that you love and what you prayed for and stuff like that. And sometimes silence, so you can hear yourself think. So you can hear yourself, so you can hear yourself think and listen to what the Lord will have for you that day, and you know, just reflection, how you can be better and what you can do better within your craft and just you as a person.
Absolutely. Now that silence, man, I'm telling you, that's probably the best music when you're getting off. Just saying, Cause it's like, man, it's been such a long day. I don't want to hear nothing or nobody.
Nothing. Right. So
yeah, silence.
That's like 3 for me. Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, let's get back to talking about what you do at Ole Miss, man,
Yeah.
as a management of creative content.
Yeah, man.
So, what's a day to day like? You clocking into work? What's your day to day looking like?
Man, I would say it's crazy because it's one of those things where I try to have a reflection of every day I get to create. You
Yeah.
know, that's what pays my bills, you know. Every day I just get up and, you know, create. So my day to day basis could be ranging from different things. I think the cool thing about it is that it's one of those things you will never do the same thing every single day. It's not
Wow.
like you
Yeah.
clock in and you in the cubicle. No offense to anybody that's in the cubicle. I think for me, I'm thinking about eventually as I get older, like I kind of want a little bit more
Go.
balance,
Yeah.
right? But for me, it's like let's just say one day we have a visit. We have a top like a priority kid on campus, and from there we have a visit, and from there it's one of those things where we do like a TUI tour, kind of show them the facilities and stuff, and I'm capturing the content of their reaction and stuff like that, and then from there later on we'll have a photo shoot and we'll take them in the studio and give them a photo shoot and stuff like that, and from there I'm editing the video and the photos for them to have for them to kind of post to let them know
Yeah.
like this is what we're doing at the SIP. And then when it comes to a typical game day, it's one of those things where depending on the time of when we play, sometimes we play early in the day.
Yeah.
So my day starts a little bit early. Sometimes we play later where I have a little leeway and stuff like that. And so when it comes to the game day, we have like shoot arounds and pre-game and then in-game and then post-game, and there's coverage and a system that we have in order for us to push things on social media. And then let's just say it's a slow day where we have like practice and stuff like that. Depending on the content we have for that week, because we meet weekly for like what we do to push our content on our socials. And from there, man, it's one of those things where I would just capture practice content and, you know, and that's that. But it's really a rare day where I have nothing to do because there's
Yeah.
always something to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like when there's moments where they see a brother chilling, they give me something to do, you know? So I try to find ways where I can balance myself
Yeah.
through everything that goes on because it's a lot because I do photo, I do video, and I do graphics as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are not really able to do all three. So I'm blessed to be able to do all three and, you know, just be as versatile, not only as a human being outside of work, but also on the clock as well. So it could be a lot. And it's rewarding and it could be a lot because of the fact that it's really, really demanding. You know, somebody
Yeah.
always needs something from you. And what I want to do is make sure I give everybody what they need and provide.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Tell me some of your greatest memories you had about growing up.
man, I would say for me, growing up, I was a military brat. So my dad was in the Air Force, man, and I pretty much lived and been a lot of places, which kind of makes sense of why I like to travel.
Yeah.
So I was born in Montgomery, Alabama, stayed there for about 2 years, moved over to San Pedro, California, and I was there for 3 years. And then I was in Middle Georgia for about 8 years. And from there, met a lot of my childhood friends and stuff like that. Small military town and stuff. And then my sophomore year, my mom took a risk on my brother and I for us to have opportunities like this, and we moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. And that move to Raleigh was probably the greatest move of my life because I was exposed to a lot of things, was able to go to a fine college institute, Appalachian State. If you know, you know. If you don't, you should know. And I was able to, you know, pretty much had a lot of success there. So my fond childhood moment, or probably the finest childhood moments, was we did a lot of traveling because of, you know, military brat. So I went to like, you know, Vegas. I went to Hawaii. I went to a lot of places. Was fortunate enough to see and be exposed to traveling and doing a lot of things, which kind of tie into today. And then I grew up playing sports. I was a sports fanatic. So basketball, of course, was my first love.
Okay.
And I had a lot of success in basketball growing up. Won a lot of championships, and shout out to the Perry Knights. If you know, you know. Small town, small team from a small town, and we just was recruited by one coach called John Gordon. Shout out to him as well. And he just recruited all the kids that was good in the Middle Georgia area. We didn't have much, but we had each other. And from there, we was able to win a state championship and a national championship. And it's one of those things where we play against teams that are sponsored and had all the stuff and sponsored by celebrities and stuff. And it didn't matter, you know, and we was able to beat them and, you know, had a lot of success there. But I would say childhood was one of those things where it was fun for me, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's as simple as it is. It's crazy because we used to rush to be a grow up,
Man,
and
what?
but as a kid, all we had to do was just go to school,
And, and just live.
live, no
No
bills,
bills.
eat for free, stay somewhere for free, and and then like play basketball and just to stay out of trouble. So that was one of the things that my childhood kind of consists of as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, man.
yeah,
All right, so we're gonna talk about you. So you graduated from Appalachian State with your
right.
bachelor's in fine arts.
Uh-huh.
You got a master's in higher education from
Yeah.
Mercer.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was your experience like before you came to Ole Miss?
Man, never would I thought I would ever live in Mississippi. Never would I thought from pretty much my background and stuff. So for me, you know, when I graduated high school, I had a little bit of interest, but nobody made an offer, right?
Oh,
And from there, I went to Appalachian State University. Well, I really wanted to go to NC State. That was my dream school because they had a great graphic design program there.
nice.
Like phenomenal, number one in the state. Really hard to get into. Like it was gonna humble you, but you was gonna come out the greatest. And Appalachian State was actually top 3 in the state of North Carolina for the best, ranked high in the nation, but top 3 in the state of North
Yeah.
Carolina um, for graphic design. And so I
Awesome.
wanted to go to a school that was great in graphic design. So I wanted to walk on and play basketball at Appalachian State, but I didn't get an opportunity until like my last year,
Yeah.
which is like my 5th year, COVID year.
Oh man.
Of basketball. But during that time, I was doing a lot of great things within the graphic design world and stuff like that. I started a clothing brand. Started a graphic design firm called Harris J Designs, and I was helping local clientele in Raleigh, North Carolina with branding logos and stuff like that. Had a clothing brand, and then I got into the sports creative side my last year.
Yeah.
And that's when I had to choose between either being around sports or still being in sports. And within my job being so demanding, or at least the art world being so demanding, it was no way that I could balance
Slit.
travel and going to Arkansas to play a game, getting back and doing the art project. Because a lot of my projects was hands-on at first, and then that's when it was a lot of complex branding projects. So there was no way. So I made a decision right there to be around sports.
Yeah.
I graduated and I landed a grad assistantship with Mercer University Athletics. And from there, that's when I got into the sports world. And while I was in grad school, I was branding the whole university.
That's
I was the creative director at 21, 22 years old, just branding and
talk your talk.
doing everything for all 13 sports, men's and women's, and stuff like that, while pursuing a master's degree. And it was one of those things where I wanted to quit, but my parents didn't let me because there was a lot of stuff going on down there. But it made me the man I am today. And then from there, I transitioned to UTSA, and from there, in that process, when I graduated from Mercer, I was a part of 16 interviews, and it wasn't like 16 like interviews from one job or whatever. It was 16 interviews with 16 different opportunities. It was all different levels. It was pro sports. It was
Man.
P4 Power Fours, kind of like here, and God was just teaching me patience. And and at the time I was interviewing for UTSA and UT Austin, the Longhorns, and God put me at UTSA. And at first I didn't understand it because I felt like I should have been designing and doing content this level right here due to my background and stuff. But God, just told me to stay the course.
Yep.
And eventually I ended up here. And it was one of those things of how this opportunity came up was just knowing somebody that knows somebody. I think the power of networking
That's it,
is
man.
really important. And if you pray, continue to pray, continue to be a good person, be who you are, your name's gonna be spoken in rooms that you're not even in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how this opportunity came up. The Constitute transitioned and explored better opportunities, and it was looking for one. And somebody, Coach Empress Davenport, shout out to you, transitioned from UTSA to Ole Miss, and it was one of those things where she thought about me immediately because we did a lot of great work and had a great relationship at UTSA.
Yeah.
And Patrick interviewed me, which is the hardest interview of my life. The hardest. Just knowing a very complex man, a very intelligent man. And, I interviewed for this job for an hour.
Woo,
An hour. And just imagine doing an interview for an hour
man.
on the phone and him asking questions and picking your
Man.
brain. And afterwards, I was just like, you know what? Like, if it
Yeah, my hands say,
happens,
if I
if it
get like
happens,
get
it
whatever.
happens. I tried.
Man,
And from there, he offered me, and I immediately accepted it. I think it was a no-brainer. Ole Miss is a great brand.
of course, yeah.
It's one of those things where it was one of the things that I dreamed of was be able to do content for one sport and then on a P4 level, Power 4 level, and God granted me it. And I didn't care or been really specific about where I wanted to be in my prayer. And God was like, Mississippi.
That's it.
And this is here. I'm here now and going into year 3, and that's my journey.
Man, I love it, man. I love to hear it, man. And so that right there will explain this right here. So you was at Appalachian State. You were the winner of a prestigious award, the Black Students Association
Yeah.
Artist of the Year award, man.
Yeah.
We got it. Got to talk and talk now. Walk me through it, man. What was your feelings like when you got it?
Honestly, it was so unexpected to the point where I wasn't even there to receive it. Yeah. It was one of those days where like, I went to a predominantly white institute, Appalachian State, Boone, North Carolina, in the mountains. It's cold. So I already know not too many of us gonna be
Yeah.
up there. And it was so humbling to the point where I was the only black man on my hall on when it came to like dormitory.
Yeah.
And then when it came to my art classes, I was the only brother there. But in the whole department, it was probably like 5 of us
Yeah.
that was kind of pursuing the same thing. But in my class that I graduated with, it was just me. So I was around, you know, white people all the time, which there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I just think it just taught me how to work in a diverse environment
Yeah.
that's different from what we're used to and stuff like that. Um, and it was one of those things. I was involved on campus. I was a practice player for the women's team as well. In the midst of me trying to walk on, so I had to stay active. I played club basketball as well, which is kind of like JV of like varsity sports. So we'll play at other schools of people like me that's trying to, get an opportunity and stuff.
Yeah.
And so BSA was one of those things, Black Student Association, and that's when we would get together with the black people on campus and do fun events and stuff like that. And they had an award show, and then next thing you know, I get like 5 text messages like, "Hey man, you won." And I was like, "What? You won? I'm like, "What? I won?" Like I had no idea. And and I was supposed to get the trophy, and I never got the trophy.
Oh, where the trophy at?
Man, COVID happened. That's what happened. Like shortly COVID happened, and then we was kicked off campus.
Man.
And so it was one of those days where I knew I wanted, and I was supposed to get the trophy, but they have proof at the time of what people told me that I wanted and stuff. So I was like, that's definitely a great thing to add to your resume for you to be selected as Artist of the Year because I was
Yes,
doing so
man.
much stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just heavily involved. I was promoting my clothing brand at one point, and
Man.
from there, just I had a lot of exhibits and installations of work that made it to like the local newspaper. So I had a lot of success, which
good.
kind of just led up to that. So yeah.
Yeah, so that made me think. I remember I watched the interview. I forgot what Snoop was on, but he's on the show. They were like, Snoop Dogg, you ever just sit back and just think about all you been through? He's like, man, I don't got no time to look back because I'm constantly looking forward. Is that
Yeah.
your mindset where you don't really just sit back and just be like, man, Monte, speaking in the first, third person.
Yeah.
I've been through so much. I've conquered this. I've won that. I've done this. You ever just sit back and be like, man, I've been through a lot.
Man, sometimes in moments you gotta, for me, the way I grew up was my mom and my dad expected, excellence. It was one of those things where like, you're gonna dare to be different. You're not gonna do what all the other kids do.
Yeah.
And you have no choice to be successful. And so they engraved that in me and my brother's brain like so early on to the point where we always want something better than what we have. But it's one of those things where like I get so caught up in what's next and what I want, and like I'm trying to get up here and elevate to the point where it takes away from being where my feet are in the moment.
Yeah.
Like I'm here still doing something great.
Yeah.
And I need to learn how to be here in this moment until God elevates me. It's one of those things where I worked so hard to get here, but I'm already thinking about the pros.
Thinking about the next
Yeah,
level.
I'm trying to do this in the
Man.
pros, you know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things where like sometimes I do reflect on like actually, when I go back, like recently I went back to my mom's house about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and all the trophies and
It's
stuff that
still there. Yeah,
she still
man.
have, and I'm like, dang, I forgot that I did this, or
Yeah.
like,
There we
oh
go.
dang, I did this, or like, just like my journey just leading to here, and I'm like, dang, like, God has brought me here, and I'm thankful for that, and so I do on, a rare occasion, but I feel like I need to do it more
Yeah, I
because
think
of the
so.
fact of like, just if he brought me through this, he could bring me through anything.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question, man.
It wouldn't be me if I didn't ask about these Lady Rebels, man. This is
Yeah.
where you working at, man.
Yeah.
So before I ask about them, I want to ask about their leader, man. Ask
Yeah.
about Coach Yo.
Man.
You be behind that camera and she's doing that pregame
Yeah.
speech and getting the team ready and she's
Yeah.
drawing up these plays or whatever the case may be, man. What is your mindset when you're behind that camera just watching this in real time? Are you just like, oh, I'm at work, or you just like, man, oh, she really going in on them. Oh, good. Let me see what they're going to do when they come out of halftime.
Man, the crazy thing about it is that in halftime I don't go in the locker room. And I just kind of just play it safe, like, because if we having a bad game,
Yeah.
I kind of just, or we starting off bad, then I kind of just let it be what it is. But, if we're playing good and stuff like that, she just makes adjustments and stuff like that. But I typically go in like pregame where she has a game plan of what we're going to do to be able to come out with a win. And from there, it's one of those things where Coach Yo is very fierce. She's, like I said, she's a great woman. One of the greatest leaders and bosses that I ever worked closely with and stuff like that. Even then, like, she even pushed me as a content creator to new heights and new level, pushed me hard. And there's moments where I'll be like, hey, coach, like, give me some time to breathe. But she just, and just manifests and instills greatness into me by pushing me, and because she knows what I could potentially be at one day. And sometimes those pregame speeches make me want to go out there and put a wig on and something and just do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But, she's really inspiring, man. And, like, a lot of these players look up to her, and she's a woman full of knowledge. I think she's a genius when it comes to like the X's and O's on the defensive side, and just how you carry herself, and just the principality of how to do things, to just her mindset of who she is. And I know a lot of the women on the team look up to her. And even with Team 52, I asked them, they was like, man, I wanted to play for Coach Yo. I wanted to play for Coach Yo. And even when I'm out and about with my Ole Miss gear and stuff, work, people ask me like, how's Coach Yo? And there's people like, man, I love Coach Yo. There's a lot of, like, her name is spoken in rooms and in areas that she's not in. And to be able to tell the story and capture the content behind it, to continue to not only push the Ole Miss brand a lot further, but her as well as an individual, because there's a lot of people watching that she has no idea or knowledge. And I have to tell her sometimes, like, there's somebody that came up to me to talk about you and how much that they love you, how much they inspire you and stuff like that. So, but yeah, man, sometimes everything that goes on, I'm just really inspired by her, just pretty much on the daily, and to be able to tell the story, like, on the realm of the content side is also a blessing as well. Like, a lot of people don't have the access of what goes in and stuff like that. So for me to be able to have the ability to do so, it's a blessing itself. So working closely with her has been, just more so phenomenal. She's very hip to what we do, and she's very easy to work with on the content side as well.
I can see that.
The photo shoots that we do for her, or anytime I'm like, hey coach, we need to promote a game. Just be you. The script is just be you.
Just be you.
And she would just do everything in like 1 or 2 takes, easy, and that's that. And so, but yeah, man.
That's a genius right there.
Yes.
All right, so this previous season, man, the 2025 season, it was a little disappointment. Yeah, I went to them games, man.
Yeah.
Well, me and my family did. I ain't gonna say I went like I went by myself. But,
Yeah.
but what did you take away from the season? Like we were.
It was close.
It was like, what did you take away?
So I think for me, is sometimes we don't understand what God does in that season, in that moment, but that means that something bigger is coming. And I think Team 50, I was here for Team 50. That was a great team, great great group of women.
Yeah.
Team 51 was a phenomenal group of women and a very talented team. And unfortunately, we did come up short. We had a lot of adversity in the season.
Of course.
The snowstorm that we had that took us out. And we still had games that we needed to play. And so they moved us to Birmingham, and we was in Alabama for like 10 to 12 days straight. wasn't able to come home, no power, water. Everybody else comfortable and stuff. I'm looking crazy with no haircut and stuff. But we faced a lot of adversity, Team 51, and they still conquered and did a lot. And it still haunts me to this day about that Minnesota game. And like, it was a lot. I would say it was a lot of, like I said, there was a lot of things going on that was behind the scenes that wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
But that's just what comes with playing in a hostile environment. It's one of those things where, you just got to win out regardless. But once that ball went in the net, it was one of those things where, my heart dropped because I felt for these women. I felt for the coaching staff of how hard they work, and your season can be dictated by a shot like that. That was a heavily contested shot, but it still so happened to win. And it was great defense, but unfortunately better. And that's just how the season was. And it was a lot of pros on that team as well, and Team 50. Now Team 52, I'd say it's a younger team. Coach Yo is known to recruit a lot of vets to come in. So this year it's not too many seniors as it usually be. It's a great group of women as well. They're young, but they're very eager to learn, and like I said, they're positive and have great attitudes, and they work hard. Like, all of them want to leave better than the way they came. And it's one of those things where I think the coaching staff now are doing a great job of, implementing the Ole Miss way and implementing the system and doing a lot of teaching this year, which I think is great as well. So I think we'll be able to make a run as well this season as well. And I say have a talented group and we have a little bit of everybody. I feel like we have a complete team of everybody that can do a little bit of everything. And, even though they're young, but by the time they get to, like I said, we got one freshman, couple sophomores, couple juniors, and like 3 or 4 seniors. But those freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, they continue to, of course, stick to the plan, stay the course. By the time we get to their senior year, not only they'll be better, but we'll just continue to just add more accolades, and go a lot farther in the NCAA tournament.
I'm ready, man. I'm excited, man. You got some names for me? Who some players we can be looking for?
I would say, in my opinion, all 12.
I like
all
his
12.
I like
all 12. Yeah, all 12 in my opinion, man. Like, these girls can ball. Even then, like, I'll put on my shoes every once in a blue moon and try to play, and they got a quick first step. They're talented. These girls can hoop, man. Like, you can't really sleep on them and stuff. So I would say all 12. I feel like anybody that comes to Ole Miss to play, like, you got to be good, especially to play in the SEC. You got to be good and talented in some way or some form for you to catch Coach Yo and the coaching staff in general anyway. So I would say all 12 in my opinion. Like, every one of them brings something special to Team 52 in the program. So yeah, man.
Well, as far as Monte goes, man, what can we be looking for this year? And tell us about what's your brand? Like, what is your brand? When somebody says the word Monte as a creative person here at Ole Miss, what do you want them to?
Man, for me, it's one of those things. What to look for is just innovation. Just doing something that no other program has done. I think for me, it's like, as a creative, our brains are really, really complex. Like, we think about so much stuff. It's always running. So for me to do something like make a video, you can see what's on my mind, right? And then you being a viewer, like, okay, this is what Monte is thinking about. I think that's the ultimate goal. But more so just being innovative, telling the story completely different, and just being able to tell the story of these excellent, great group of women. And same thing with the coaching staff as well. Just one of those things to just doing something completely different, telling the story. So it's one of those things where every video that I do, I just wanted to make it better than the last, no matter how I'm feeling, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where, since I've been here, we had a lot of success when it came to our social media. And it's not just me, it's one of the great people that I worked with or have worked with. Like, I have a great group of team or coworkers that work on the athletic side that listen on women's basketball, and we collaborate well. And I have a great group of interns who do a lot of things well. So I think first year was learning, second year was doing, and then third year is improving on top of what we already been doing. So just being more innovative and thinking outside the box.
Absolutely, man. I like that. All right, before we go, Monte, man, is it anybody you want to shout out? You got some team members you want to shout out, some intern, anybody that you want to shout? Because, we're great, but we're only as great as the people that we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, I want to shout out God. That's the most important thing. I want to shout out you for giving me the opportunity to be on this special podcast and
appreciate that, man.
to pick my brain about what I do. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to my support system, my family, my mom, my brother, my dad, my sister, and of course my significant other as well. Love you. And then on top of that, talented coworkers. My coworkers that work on the athletic side, shout out to y'all. And then my sons, my interns, I call them my sons. They keep me young, and they're a very talented group of men as well that are doing a lot of great things, even doing more than what I was at the age of 19 and 20.
Yeah.
And they teach me a lot of great things on the daily on how to be hip and efficient ways to be able to get more so content out. And then, of course, everybody that made me the man I am today and helped me along this journey. And of course, first and then most importantly, Coach Yo and Patrick and everybody to select me out of all the applicants for me to be able to have an opportunity to do this job and to be able to tell the story. So shout out to y'all, and of course help me grow to the man I am today on a just in general and on the professional side as well of things. So I truly thank y'all and shout out to everybody that I said before.
All right. Well, there you have it, man. It's going to conclude the end of the Sip Talk podcast. We appreciate you guys for staying tuned in. And like Coach Yo says, fill those seats up because she's been real big on wanting us to have attendance on there. Not just the big games, man. She wants us to come and all the games. So
all of it. Show up. 1052.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a good one.
All right, Monte, I appreciate you, man, jumping on the show, man. Yes, sir, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right, y'all. We'll see ya.
See y'all.